I'm so happy to see you here in this super glutes fire power flow. I've designed this so it will work for you as a standalone class if you just really want to get your glutes fired up, but it also may make a really nice warm up to follow up with another yoga class, or maybe if you're going to go for a run or a long walk and you know that getting your glutes super fired up is going to help you stay stabilized, keep your knees and your back happy as you go through these other activities. Remember, it may be challenging for you, but it gets easier every time you come back to it and do it again. So I'm not going anywhere. This is always going to be here for you anytime you want to work out your glutes. So we'll begin lying on our backs with our knees bent and the feet planted flat on the mat. And I want you to bring your hands to your hip bones as you then tilt the tailbone up towards the ceiling and press your low back into the mat. Squeeze your glutes and notice the abdominal engagement that you get from this movement of going into this posterior tilt. So really get a feel for that. Try and hang on to that posterior tilt now as you then lift the hips up towards the ceiling. So really squeeze through the glutes. Try and think about getting the tailbone as high as you can and the top of your hip bones down as much as you can. So you're really getting that posterior tilt. Squeeze the knees towards each other slightly as well. Now you can keep your hands on your hips, or if you want a little bit of support, you can bring your hands down to the mat. Shift your weight into the right foot so you can lift the left leg up towards the ceiling. Keep that posterior tilt. Take an inhale. As you exhale, just lower back down and then drive your left leg forward to help with a bit of momentum to bring yourself up to a seated position. Can you now, with your hands down on the mat or hands free, just shift your weight ever so slightly into that right foot? We're going to do 5 more of those. Get a little bit of momentum going. As you roll back into your bridge pose, posterior tilt, so lift the tailbone up. Inhale. As you exhale, swing forward. See if you can rise all the way up onto your right foot with the whole of the left leg hovering above the floor. Let's do 3 more. Just use a bit of momentum. You can use your hands on the mat. Roll up. Press up as if you're going to a pistol squat. Back to your bridge pose. Roll up. Last one. Use some momentum. This time we're going to swing the left leg all the way to the back of the mat to come into a lunge position. Let's try that one more time. So bring the left leg forward in front of you, squat down, roll up and back into your bridge pose, then swing your left leg forward and all the way to the back of the mat. Your right leg's probably burning right now, so take an inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, let's bring the left knee down. Bring your hands to your hips and just give me that posterior tilt of the pelvis again. So this time the tailbone going forwards, the hip bones going back. So maybe you're feeling a nice stretch through the front of the left hip. Can you now pull your left heel towards your butt? As much as you can, get it as close as you can without using any hands to get you there, then lower the left foot back down. Lift the left knee up, stretch that hamstring out, but keep the left glute nice and active. Lower the knee down, pull the heel towards the butt, lower the toes down, lift the knee. 3 more, lower the knee, lift the heel, lower the toes, lift the knee. 2 more, knee down, pull the heel towards the butt, lower the toes down, lift the knee up. That left glute should stay active and switched on the whole time. Last one, left heel towards the butt, lower the toes down, lift the knee up. Good. Now, take a little hop off of the left leg to bring all of your weight into the right leg. Bring your left knee all the way up as high as you can towards your chest, but try not to lean forward with your chest and try not to bend that right knee either. We want to be going for a nice neutral spine. So this time the pelvis is not tucking under. We're going for just the same position we would be in if we were standing normally. You should be feeling your right glute really working now. Take an inhale. As you exhale, bring the left knee out to the side. Bend into the right knee. Turn your whole body around to the left and lower the left foot all the way towards the back of the mat. Knees and toes pointing out to the side. Lower your hips down a little bit more in this little goddess pose. Take an inhale. Exhale. Good. We're gonna hop off of the right foot, bring our weight into the left, touch your right toes all the way over to the left side of you, bring it back to your goddess pose. Hop into your right foot, touch the left toes over to the right side of you, bring it back to your goddess pose. All right, 4 more of those on each side. Hop it over to the left, right toes touch, through your goddess pose, take it to the right with the left toes touching over to the right. Goddess pose, right toes to the left, goddess pose, left toes to the right, goddess pose, right toes to the left, goddess, left toes to the right. Whew, keep going. Don't cheat and miss that nice deep squat in your goddess pose. Keep the knees over the toes in the same direction. And finally, one more time with the left toes to the right. Bring it back to your goddess pose. Turn the right toes now so that they're facing right at the front of the mat. Take a hop off of the left. Bring the left knee all the way back up to where we were before. Really try and straighten through that right knee. The left glute should be super active. Breathe. One more inhale. Same as before. Take the left knee out to the left. Pivot all the way around back into your goddess pose. And here, with your hands on your hips, do 10 little bounces. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And back to the front left knee towards the chest. Hold it for a breath. And take it back to your goddess for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to the front. Last time. Hold that left knee up as high as you can get it. Keep the right knee straight. One more big inhale. Bring the left knee out to the side. Pivot round back into your goddess pose. Pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand up. Turn your feet to face forwards. Take your hands to your hips. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, fold down, lift through the inner arches, gently squeeze the feet towards each other. Maybe just wiggle it out a little bit. You can keep your hands down to support you, or put all of your weight in your feet to do this hands free. Just come up halfway so your chest is parallel to the floor. Take an inhale. As you exhale, bend into the left leg. Keep the right leg straight. Point the right toes up towards the ceiling. Hands can be down, remember, or up off the floor to make it a little bit more intense. Straighten the left knee through center, bend into the right knee, lift the left toes up towards the ceiling. It can be a nice little stretch, but make sure, especially if you're a super bendy type, you're not just hanging out here. So lift up out of your hips and out of your feet a little bit. Lift up to the inner arches of the feet. Rise up through center, back down to the left. Rise up through center, back down to the right, up through center, to the left. Last one, up through center, to the right. Good. Turn around towards the right. Let your toes follow. Everything comes back to face the front of the mat. Make sure that left glute is nice and active. And just like we did before, we're gonna hop off of the left foot, shoot it forwards, lower down onto our butt, roll back, lift the hips and that left leg back up into the bridge pose where we began. Take your arms out to the side now to help support you. Can you keep the left leg as straight as possible as you bring it out to the side? The hips stay lifted. Now bend the left leg, point the left foot. Can you lower the left shin down on the mat? And slowly shift your weight into the left shin and lift your right leg up. Take an inhale. As you exhale, lower the hips down, lift them back up, lower down, lift back up. Last one, just 3 of these. Lower down, lift back up. Now take the right toes to the left, lower the right knee down to the left knee, and roll over onto your left side. Prop yourself up on your left forearm. So just have the left elbow underneath the shoulder wherever it feels good. You can have your right hand down on the mat to support you, or maybe on your hip. We're gonna lift the hips up and spread the knees wide. Bring the knees together and lower the hips. All in one big movement, up and down, up and down. 2 more, up and down, up and down. Good. Press into the left hand to bring yourself up. Straighten the right leg. Spin it all the way back behind you. Let your body come with you. And as much as possible, without using your hands, bring yourself into a pigeon pose. And if it's your tight side like me, or maybe both sides are tight, then you may need to just do a little bit of adjustment. So find yourself in a nice, comfortable pigeon pose, but I want you to be up off the mat a little bit so you've got some space to move. I want you to, first of all, press your left shin and your right knee down into the mat, like you're trying to dig a hole through the earth underneath you, just pressing both legs down, 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 down into the mat. Breathe, keep pressing it down. One more big inhale, exhale, release, and let yourself sink down. Now have your hands to support you here, and we're gonna do the opposite. So probably no body parts are actually gonna move, but I want you to just have the thinking, have the intention behind this movement. You wanna pick your left shin up off the mat, and also the whole of your right leg. Try and lift those legs up off the mat, like you're trying to go into a big oversplit. Just that thinking should be leading to a lot of muscle engagement, even though nothing's actually moving. Good, release. All right, we'll go back to the other side. So now press the shin and press the right knee, maybe the top of the right foot down into the mat. This might lift you up as well. And you wanna go hands-free, that's totally cool. And release it down. Now lift both legs up off the mat. Try your hardest. This should feel super challenging. Good. One more inhale and exhale. Just release down into this little pigeon stretch. Roll over onto the outside of the left thigh to bring the right leg all the way to the front. You can cross the right shin over the left in a little double pigeon and take a little stretch here. So, really working those glutes now. And we're gonna just bring ourselves back to the soles of the feet flat on the mat and roll back onto our backs to repeat the other side. So you're halfway through, good job. So same as before, let's tilt the pelvis in that posterior tilt so that the low back is flat on the mat. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, press the hips up without losing that tilt of the pelvis. The tendency is to go into what's called an anterior tilt. We want to avoid that. You won't go as high up to your bridge if you stay in a posterior tilt. So that's fine. Just make sure your glutes are working. Hands can be on your hips or down on the mat to support you. Shift your weight into the left foot. Extend your right leg straight up towards the ceiling. Take an inhale. As you exhale, roll down. Shoot your right leg forward to help lift your whole body up to a seated position. And maybe just use your hands this first time. Get a feel for shifting your weight into the left foot so your right leg is up off the mat. We'll do 4 more. So roll back up into your bridge. Remember that posterior tilt, so tailbone up towards the ceiling. Roll forwards. Bring all of the weight into your left foot. Maybe the right leg is hovering, maybe not, that's cool. We'll get a little bit more momentum, so roll back into your bridge and forward, that's 3. Roll back and forward, that's 4. The last one, remember we take the right leg all the way back behind us, into that lunge. That's super challenging. Let's just try it one more time, just to give you a chance to get it. So shift the weight into your left foot, extend the right leg forward, roll all the way back onto your back and lift the hips up into your bridge. Use some momentum to shift that right leg all the way back. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips and lower the right knee down. Once again, just Use your hands for a little bit of feedback on your hips to check what your pelvis is doing. Try and go for that posterior tilt, like you're trying to get your tailbone really pointing down towards your right knee. And maybe you're feeling then that right hip flexor area, feeling a good stretch. Now pull the right heel up towards the butt and lower the right toes down, lift the right knee up. Try and keep that tilt, especially when the right knee starts to straighten. The tendency is to let the pelvis tilt forwards, but we want to really work into hip extension here using the right glute. So keep that tailbone pointing down as much as possible. Lower the right knee down, pull the right heel towards the butt, right toes down, right knee up. Glutes nice and active, lower the right knee, heel to the butt, right toes down, right knee up, right knee down, right heel up. Keep going, lift that right knee up. That right glute should be really working. The left leg is working as well. One more time, all the way up into that crescent lunge. Now, hop off the right foot into the left, draw the right knee all the way up towards your chest. Keep the left leg straight, and as much as possible, find a neutral spine. Take a breath here, inhale. As you exhale, abduct your right knee, so bring it all the way out to the right side of you. Pivot around, bend into the left knee. Pivot your whole body around towards the right. Lower your feet down in your goddess pose. I'm just gonna turn around so that I'm facing you. But same thing as before. We're gonna take a hop into the left foot, bring the right knee behind the left leg and touch it down. Maybe you go a little bit lower down than you did before. Bring it all the way back to your goddess lunge. Don't miss that squat there, like lower the hips down, and then the left leg's gonna come back. Maybe you take it a little bit lower than before. So back through your goddess, right foot behind the left, through your goddess, left foot behind the right. 2 more each side. Just moving through these different squats to get all the different areas of our glutes working. Cool, last one. I may have done an extra one here. And we'll finish back in that goddess position. Same as before, we're gonna turn the left foot back to the front, bring ourselves all the way back to face the front with the right knee up towards the chest. Left leg is straight. You should feel your left glutes really working here now. And pivot all the way back around, nice and slow with control, into your goddess. Now you can repeat what we did before with just a little pulses, or if you want to take it up a notch, we'll do 5 little jumps. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back to the front with the right knee lifting up towards the chest, the left leg straight. This is kind of your rest pose. So one more big inhale, exhale, take it all the way back to your goddess pose. So pulse or jump for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to the front in your rest pose, keeping that left glute really working here. Pull the right knee up towards your chest. Last one, swing it back around to your goddess pose. Pulse it or jump for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn both feet to face forwards. Lift through the inner arches. Straighten the knees. Fold down. Maybe give yourself just a little breather here, a little break to kind of stretch it out. Wiggle from side to side. And remember, we're going to move through our Skandasana lunges. You can do it with your hands down or hands free. Just lift your chest so it's about parallel to the floor. Take an inhale. As you exhale, bend into the right knee, lift the left toes up towards the ceiling. Just lift everything up out of this to make sure you're not just hanging out there. Come back through center and lower down to the left knee. Back through center and to the right. Back through center to the left. Up and down and up and down and up and down. These get so much easier the more you practice them. Finish with the left knee bent, pivot around, Come back into your lunge. Keep your hands down this time. Just hop into your left foot. Extend the right leg forward. Roll back onto your back. Lift the hips up into your one-legged glute bridge where we began. Take your arms out to the side to support you. Keep your right knee straight as much as possible. Keep lifting that left hip up towards the ceiling as you lower the right leg all the way down to the side. Now bend the right knee. Bring the right ankle behind the left and just keep the right shin down. Try and keep the hips up as you shift your weight into the right shin and extend the left leg up to the ceiling. Lower the hips down and lift it up. 3, lower down, lift 2, lower down, lift 1. Bend the left knee, bring the toes in line with each other. Roll over to lower the left knee down and come onto the right side of you and bring your right elbow underneath the right shoulder. So left hand can be down to support you or on your hip. We're gonna spread the knees and lift the hips in one big movement, then close it all back down, lower the hips. For 5, lift it up and lower. 4, lift it up, lower. 3, lift and lower. 2, lift and lower. Last one. Good. Press into the right hand to bring yourself up. Extend the left leg straight. Swing the left leg all the way back behind you. Never goes as gracefully as I imagine it should in my mind. I'm just going to spin around so I'm back to facing the front. So bring yourself into a pigeon where it feels good and comfortable on your knee. If you need to adjust in some way so that there's no niggling feeling in your knee, then please do so. Or just, if you don't know how, just skip this altogether. But I want you to lift your hips up slightly so you've got some space to move. Bring the tops of the left foot down. Now, same as before, you can have your hands down to support you or up in the air, but we're gonna press the right shin and the left knee and the left foot down into the mat. So like we're trying to dig a hole through the earth just by pressing our legs down. Keep breathing. So just hoping to improve our range of motion here by giving our brain some neural feedback. So sink it down. Maybe you feel like, oh, I can go a little bit deeper now. I feel a little bit more comfortable here. Now, here's the hard part, lift. Imagine you're trying to lift your right shin and your whole left leg up off the mat. Lift, 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 lift. It's not gonna move, I know, but if you imagine it, then, you know, everything that the body does, the brain initiated it. So we start with the brain, and who knows what might happen in the body eventually. Good. Relax back down. Last time with the pressing. So press the right shin and the left knee down. Press, 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 press. So we're not just working into the right hip, but we're also working that left leg in this extended position as well. So the left glute should be super active here. Then relax it down. Good. Last time, lift, 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 lift. Doesn't look hard from the outside, but from the inside, whoa, we're working. Oh, one more breath and relax. Good. Shift your weight over onto the outside of the right hip to bring the left leg all the way forward. You can cross the left ankle over on top of the right knee. Maybe just wiggle around a little bit in your double pigeon position. Whew, good job. You got through it. So roll back onto your back. Just give your knees a big squeeze towards your chest. Take your hands to the inside of your knees and the outsides of your feet. Come into a little happy baby. Maybe just stretch it out in whatever way it feels good for you. Bring the knees back together and the legs straight. Bring the toes to point towards your face. Lift the hips up as you extend the feet back behind you, coming into like a reverse Paschimottanasana. So it's just a seated forward fold, but upside down. Keep pulling the toes towards your head and roll back down. Bend the knees. One last time, give them a big squeeze towards your body and lower them over to the left. Take a twist, take a few breaths here. And bring it back through center. And take the knees over to the right. Again, a big breath here. Just letting your breathing slow down and bring you into a sense of calmness. And I invite you to take as long as you need to recover your breath, recover your strength. But I hope you're feeling super warmed up and ready to go into the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe, leave me a comment. I love hearing from you, and do also subscribe to my mailing list so that you don't miss out on any of the good stuff that I always constantly have coming for you.